Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Almighty Blues FC, your fan channel for all to see. Or huh? Today it's basically one of those days that I always wait every year. In fact, twice a year, sometimes thrice a year, because it's a Milan Derby. We all look forward to it. For me, it is still and it will remain one of the most underrated derbies, I think, in the history of football. Simply put, because it has never disappointed. But I'll be very honest, and that is why I kind of got some solace in Doug coming. Big up to Doug. Long time. It's about Milan, Liverpool, Chelsea. Kind of you're sailing in the same boat, Doug. Don't you feel that?
Yeah, definitely. I wish we were sort of meeting on better terms. So, no, thank you very much for the invite, Ankit. I really do appreciate it.
Always,
And
always.
yeah, it has been a while. We were just talking off air because we were just talking off air. We were basically saying that our paths kind of met when we were like sort of doing like World Cup content, and we just sort of seemed to have missed each other. Obviously, I know, obviously for the the time difference, etc. But it's great to be here, and thank you very much for the invite. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And by the way, for people who do not know, Doug is obviously a great content creator himself. And we've been on quizzes together on his channel as well as in mine, and on multiple. And I know that, Doug kind of knows inside out. He covers a lot of Bundesliga as well, not just Premier League and Scottish League, of course, but also like, Serie A is something that is close to Doug. And I know that we follow very closely. So we'll be discussing lots. And I know Doug is also, by the way, an Almighty fan member. So great. And we will be joined by Uncle Sharma, and people know him as well. Inter content creator, Inter Ultra for sure. He's going to be joining us. I was hoping that Fateh also joins us, another Inter man, but I was like, no, man. As an AC Milan, already are not doing good. So I'm like, no, no. As in, let me just have one versus one rather than one versus two. But at least I have Doug here, so that's great to know. So, people here, सबसे पहले, everyone, let's hit that like button absolutely. And yes, it's always a fan channel for all to see. Do not forget to share it because yes, I know here we are waving the flag about Serie A, but not just that. A lot of Liverpool discussions are due, Doug. I wanted it. I know I've given my own views. What I think about Liverpool season, what I think about Klopp, the squad, the formation, the tactics, the mentality, everything. I released a video this morning, but I really wanted to speak to you about this because again, like I know that it could be it's an obvious thing that okay, there is a cycle to some extent. Okay, heavy metal football, it's directly proportional to the injuries that you get over course of time. I know that, but and same time, that FSG factor is there. But are you of the kind that you're saying that no, as in the 7 year cycle, the Klopp thing, where he has to change something, or as in, are you really saying that you need to change him because Klopp is still a legend, right? As he'll always be in Liverpool, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've hit the nail on the head. And Klopp will always be a Liverpool legend. Unfortunately, though, there is a sort of a time when teams sort of come to the end of an era, and I think you saw like last season that you saw we were so close to winning nearly every single trophy. We were almost we were a game away from winning the Premier League, and obviously the Champions League was a little bit too far fetched. But I think the problem we had last season is that we played every single game possible. Now I can't remember a team that's done that. I can't even remember a team that's even ever done that. Um, so obviously going into this season, I thought, yes, there's probably going to be a little bit of maybe exhaustion, maybe a bit of tiredness from those games. I didn't expect what was to come next. I mean, this season has just been a disaster from start to finish. Um, I actually can't remember a time where I go into every single game not thinking we're not going to win, or I've not got any confidence in us winning any games anytime soon as well. Um, the midfield is the big factor for me. It's been very neglected. The fact is as well, Thiago Alcantara was our only midfield signing since 2020. And obviously Arthur Melo, that's been an absolute disaster. I think people can tell that. Darwin Núñez hasn't particularly worked yet, but and I mean, Cody Gagpo, I feel so much sorry for as well because he's came into a team that's not performing, not been great anyway. Um, but it's not his fault. It's not his fault. So there's a lot of things. Klopp's tactics are coming into plan as well. Everyone can blame FSG, but the thing is, Klopp has to have a collective of this criticism. Nobody is above criticism, whether you're a manager or not.
Right?
Klopp does deserve he does deserve a lot of the flack. And Indian Scouser, hello, and Nari, hope you're a good mate. That yesterday was just it wasn't it was embarrassing, but I think it was kind of expected. Brighton, I expected us to lose. Brentford, I expected us to lose. But this is the winning thing. We are probably on current form, the worst team in the Premier League.
Yeah, as in I was just reading a stat in one of the videos that I released, I think the morning video. So what I mentioned is, and that was like shocking. I had to double check that. In this calendar year, and we're talking about what, 5 weeks now? In these 5 weeks, Liverpool are 20th. If you actually only count these 5 weeks. I know 5 weeks counts for not much, but it is a lot considering the fact that Liverpool, and that is the astonishing part. Among the big six clubs, Liverpool has had the least number of players going to the World Cup. So I know that we already had injuries and stuff like that, but the fact that Salah did not qualify, Luis Diaz was already injured, but anyway, he had not qualified. So technically speaking, I think maybe you did not plan, or maybe I know the FSG factor is there again, but somewhere down the line, the fact that you knew that not many people are going to the World Cup, maybe in hindsight, Liverpool weren't prepared for it. Will that be fair, or you think no, it's more to do with the FSG and they don't like right now they're not budging because either Klopp had to do really as in a great start to the season for him to be back. But see, that's the second side of the coin. This is basically that you're going to meet Real Madrid in about 10 days time, correct? 9 days time now. So not planning for that doesn't make sense either, considering that it's not only a rivalry, but at the end of the day, it's a round of 16. And this time, like Chelsea, I think the best chance for Liverpool, like Chelsea, is to win the Champions League to qualify next year's Champions League. Like that is the best chance, if I have to be really honest about it, because top four looks a long shot for both our clubs. Honestly speaking.
Oh,
so
I
this
think
buying thing, because I'm very surprised with the lack of planning, which is so unlike a Liverpool say recent years. I used to be envious that we kind of, as in I know we have gone bonkers about how we spend. That we used to do like two times in the past we've done. I remember one was in 2003, one was around Ancelotti time, and then now. But right now, I thought Klopp needed even more so, considering that it has been like a stale kind of a thing for a few months now, right?
Yeah, I think and the thing is as well, Gakpo was a signing I think that was it was needed because I think there was going to be like a bidding war. I think there would have been a bidding war in the summer, but the problem he's had is he's came into a team that's been very, very low on confidence. And the funny thing is, our top scorer since the World Cup is actually Wout Wees on 2 own goals. That just kind of sums us up at the moment. I don't know what's gone wrong. I think it's been a collective of things, and as I said, I think Klopp said in the summer that he was happy with his midfield. Now, if he's happy with his midfield, he's happy with his midfield. But I think every fan, the Liverpool fan that you asked, basically said we need fresh ideas in midfield. And bang, Jordan Henderson gets injured. I think after the Merseyside derby, we're like, oh no. So goes into the market, sees Arthur Melo is available. Yeah. And then I saw apparently there were a couple of midfielders that were actually available in that sort of that summer transfer window. Zakaria was available. I would have took Zakaria. I would have took him. I think he's a fantastic midfielder. And
okay, let me admit here, as much as Zakaria has actually come off well, at the time I remember that Liverpool were linked to both, and we were linked to Zakaria and Edson Alvarez. I remember clearly, right? It was probably the last couple of days of the transfer window. I remember that exactly. Last like 36 hours, literally. And at that point, it was almost like a toss of a coin. I'll be really honest, because Zakaria before that, be it in Mönchengladbach or be it in Juventus, he had been injured a lot. Yes, I know as in the national team, he kind of plays an important role, but he's come off good. So I think somewhere down the line, also the attitude. So I think there we kind of got lucky. Yes, we've kind of picked the right player comparatively to Arthur, but still at the end of the day, it's not like Zakaria is good as I like his attitude, but again, I don't think he's the one that you would rely. You know what I mean? So again, for example, Bajitic is one that you've got right in midfield, and would you count him like a new player almost, right? Because I don't think he was I don't think it was in the list of players that you expected to come to the first team when you started the season, right?
No, definitely not. He's been a shining light in this season. And I know people will probably look at his goal, the third Wolves goal yesterday. It's not entirely his fault. He was tracked down by Moutinho. I just think if you're looking at teams at this moment in time, Wolves are better than us. Brentford are better than us. Brighton. It's just the harsh reality that this team is so stale, that we've got players that have been not performing. Our best player this season has been Alisson by a country mile. How many times are we going to say this? Oh, Alisson saved Liverpool. Alisson saved Liverpool this game. Alisson saved Liverpool this game as well. Alisson Becker has been the best player for Liverpool this season by a country mile. Salah is not been performing as well. Trent's not been performing either. But the problem is as well, Van Dijk's been injured. Konate has been injured as well. Yeah, I'm going to say it now. We are definitely having a trophyless season. I do not see us beating Real Madrid. I think if we do beat Real Madrid, then I think we could go back to comparisons of 2004, 2005, where we actually finished fifth. This was the only season, I think, or one or two seasons that Everton actually finished above us. They finished fourth that season, and we had to win the Champions League to qualify for it. And I think we had to go for a qualifying stage, if I seem to remember. So if we do beat Real Madrid, I'm going back to sort of comparisons to that, but no, it's not happening. It is not happening. And Real Madrid have our number in the Champions League, as you very, very well know. So I think it would be a very good thing if we didn't actually finish in the European places. Go away, go refresh, go have a big rebuild, and then go again. Because I think this is what's needed. And I think a lot of decisions need to be made on players leaving the club, players being kept, and players being moved on.
Yep. Okay, I'll just take a few comments. By the way, everyone watching here, again, I would like to say one more thing. Yes, I know that it's been a while that Doug has been on the channel, but for people who know, as an almighty watchers of Almighty fam of Almighty Blues FC, know that Doug is one of the OGs of the house, and of course, Uncle Sharma as well, who's going to join. Yes, again, it's a fan channel for all to see. I always say that for newer watchers. Yes, definitely, we do a lot of content. We sometimes rotate between Hindi and English based on the subscribers who are live, based on the topic as well as the panel, and that's how we go. And at the end of the day, it's a language of football. Everyone here, I request to hit that like button, and that's how YouTube kind of promotes, and that's the algorithm. It's just not me. So भाई सब लोग जो भी यहाँ पर है like button दबाइए, as well as do not forget to share it, because yes, we would like to say that as much as there is absolutely great growth in terms of the geographical part I am in, there is still a long way to go when it comes to Serie A, and I am definitely one of those minority people who's kind of waving the flag. So I would really help if everyone here shares the stream. I really want, because at the end of the day, we are all just fans and just discussing with each other. Of course, here we are kind of discussing our sorrows, me and Doug at least right now. And here comes someone who kind of would be in a much better mood. I'm pretty sure. Uncle Sharma in the house, big up, definitely another OG in the house. Absolutely.
What's up,
brother? How are you doing, by the way?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for having me on. Thank you, and good to see you, Doug, as well. Of course.
Yeah, good to see you, Sharma. I hope you're good.
Yeah, I hope you're good, bro. And congrats, Ankit, on 7K. I just seen you.
Thanks. By the way, I'm hoping you're near the 5K. You've crossed that. Everyone, let's hit the subscribe button to Uncle Sharma's channel as well as Doug's channel. Let's get them to the next stage. And we all know that as we all grow, as in it's you guys as well who grow, as because you guys are part of the channels. Absolutely. So let's like the stream and subscribe to them as well. And yes, we were discussing Liverpool and a little bit of Chelsea.
Mid-table conversations.
But honestly, like, we'll move to the Milan Derby, absolutely. But quickly, just wanted your opinion, because last season you played Liverpool, right? As in you played Liverpool, of course. The Chelsea connection is always going to be there. That's always there. But generally, as in the way you see it, as in what do you think has been wrong in both the clubs' seasons, especially Liverpool to begin with?
Yeah, Liverpool. Yeah, it says. I mean, yeah, as you said, we played them last year, and they still looked really good in the Champions League. So it's a bit of a surprise. But then you look at Klopp. I think it seems to be like that period everyone talks about, the 7-year like Klopp kind of cycle, his high
Yep.
pressing, maybe the players just being a bit burnt out and not being backed as he should be in the transfer windows or whatever, the type of profiles that he needs in that midfield. Maybe being a bit too loyal to his players. So I think it just seems like the end of a cycle. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. Like, it's not like a slight on Jurgen Klopp. I think it's just like a natural, ending to a time at a club. I think that he's got the best out of those players that I think he possibly can. I think it's just time to possibly start looking ahead. With Chelsea, I have no clue. I don't even know what to say.
I'm just glad that our club is existing. Supposedly, we were going to administration, remember? And obviously, a certain current unknown player in Inter kind of, did not help there, I must say, the timing of it. I will speak about that for sure. But to end the Liverpool and Chelsea topic quickly, as in I know we will get back to it because Uncle Sharma is here just for some time. So hopefully, we'll discuss the Milan Derby in detail. And that's what today the positive aspect of it, that at least for now I'm at least positive. I know I wasn't until yesterday, but quickly I would like to comment on a couple of comments that came, because for me Klopp has been, a very, I don't know whether it's ego or rigidity, as in, remember Doug, in between he had to try that 4-2-3-1 formation as well. He went
Yeah.
for a couple of games. I know that that's not how you drill the team, but and I'll come to AC Milan. For me, when the club is not doing well, as in, remember, I know every day is not a Sunday. I always say that thing, but when Tuchel came in Chelsea, the first thing that he did was like secure the back, get a
Yeah.
structure in. So for me, Klopp not changing the system, I'm pretty sure, as in you must be having enough bodies to at least try and change the system and get defense, because you're getting caught on counter. You think that is probably one of the aspects why it's like, again, one step front and two steps back.
Yeah, we're the easiest team to play against this season. It's as simple as that. Like, the 4-3-3 is completely outdated. We need to, like, I've been crying out for the 4-2-3-1. I think it's a different idea. It could almost be sort of a 4-4-2 almost. Like, you could probably have like one of the wingers sort of inverting into a sort of a striker. But yeah, 4-2-3-1. We have tried it a couple of times, and every time we've actually won. This season, every time we've played the 4-2-3-1, we've actually won a game. So
Wow.
change it up a little bit. I saw a wee comment as well, like back three.
Yeah.
I don't think we've got the players to play a 4-3-3 now, because of like the injuries that we've had, and then obviously the midfield is clearly not working. Back three again, we've got a few defensive injuries as well. But I think if we had everyone fit, then it might be a good idea to potentially do a 3-4-3 or something like that. But unfortunately, I've never seen Klopp play sort of a back three before. So change up a little bit. But the problem is he's too stubborn. He's too stubborn to change his ways. And the one thing as well, which I don't like, is all the sort of the off the pitch stuff seems to have a bit of an effect on like all the players at the moment. Like, there's been a lot of off the field, obviously, about FSG, about sort of rumblings inside the sort of the dressing room, and obviously the boardroom level. That's not healthy, and I think obviously Klopp did take. I think he refused to speak to someone yesterday, because I think the story came out or something in the
I did throw banter on that, Doug. Apologies for that, but if you see my video, I don't know if people do check it out, as in so basically Klopp is like, no, as in he's being very selective in what he wants to answer and not. But see, that's the thing, as in that is Klopp for you, because at the end of the day he cannot believe what's happening. He's kind of proud of what he's drilled the team with. And I can get it, but again, if someone kind of stays against the philosophy of Klopp and kind of makes up stories around it, he's not going to take it. And as in, let's be honest, Jug, Klopp is a bad loser, and that's how he becomes someone who doesn't like losing and likes winning all the time. Maybe, as in like we always say about the Ronaldo factor, for example, right? That's how some people become great. I don't know, but I always have that banter going in that, directed at Klopp for that. As in, pretty sure many of them agree there, right? But yeah, we never replace a lot of scouting that has been missing. Transfers, FSG, we already spoke about Indian scouts in the beginning of the stream. But again, we'll come back to it. I know we can kind of go entire night about Liverpool and of course Chelsea. Literally every stream, I'm kind of on the same note. But anyway, we'll come to it for sure. And of course, the positive part I was saying now, it is a Milan derby. Yes, I know recent history. Well, in the league, at least like, we've not done badly. AC Milan, I'm talking about now. Let's where the AC Milan had, but the reality is that what Inter did to us in the Super Cup, I don't know, man. As in, that was some confidence. As in, where does the confidence come from? As in, Lotaro, what has happened to him all of a sudden? Uncle Sharma, please help us understand. This guy was someone who failed to score for Argentina, who was like, on a barren run last year. What's happened to him all of a sudden?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he had a stinky World Cup. I mean, his reputation really came to an all-time low. It's like, oh, Inter fans, why are you overhyping this guy? Is overrated. So, yeah, there's no denying both him and Lukaku had a really bad World Cup. But I think that, he came back with that, with the hunger, obviously, and he still won the World Cup, by the way. It's not like this guy came back empty-handed. And he is the top scorer after Messi in the Scaloni era. So it's not like you're talking about a bum. But yeah, no, he's like, recent contract Skriniar situation. He's become like also the temporary captain, and he's kind of leading from the front by example. Yeah, he's taken that step that we're expecting him to take. Like Lautaro, he's always been wasteful. Like, even if you ask Inter fans, that's one of the main downfall of Lautaro, is that he gets chances, but he seems, he's not the most ice cool player in front of goal, but he seems to be improving on that. And with strikers, he's still 25, so you probably expect him to become better as he gets older as well. So he's taking that step, and yeah, he's Dzeko as well. He keeps going. That guy next to him as well. Him and Dzeko had like no partnership last year. It was like Lautaro would try to do one thing, Dzeko would do the opposite. It was just like no chemistry, but they've built that chemistry as well now. So yeah, it's looking much better, especially compared to the start of the season when you guys beat us in the league 3-2. Yeah, and Inzaghi still hasn't beaten Milan in the league. So yeah, we've beaten you last year 3-0 in the cup. This year we beat you 3-0 in the cup, so Super Cup. So we need to get one over you in the league, and there's definitely no better time ever right now. Milan are like at all-time low, so we have to pounce on that surely.
See, that's the thing, right? As in, my expectations are low this time around. So anything, even if it's a draw, right, it's basically more than what the expectations are. And yes, like Uncle Sharma said, this is the record. And again, I request everyone to hit that like button. Here, Pujan is asking, do you think Brozovic will join Barca in the summer? That's an interesting question. I don't know. Like, let's ask Doug. I know that we can be biased when you have your own player, but as in, Doug, what do you think? As in a person like Brozovic, I was surprised firstly that Kessie they took and they're not kind of implementing him the way that probably suits us, if I'm being really honest. But Brozovic is the kind of, I think, is one of the most underrated DMs out there, if I'm being really honest about Brozovic. But in the Barca system, Doug, for you, Brozovic is that kind of a player. As in, which side, if any? I know it's hypothetical, but where does he fit for you?
I'll be honest. I think Barcelona's transfer system is mental. It's basically try and buy washed up Premier League players, Aubameyang, Alonso.
See, but that's the fate, right? As in, they don't have the money unless they have any more euros left, which you don't, right? And that's not like a punt at them, and that's a reality. So for them, I think, like a lot of Italian clubs are facing, and I'm sure Uncle Sharma agrees that somewhere down the line, it is down to the money. So yes, Premier League, whether we like it or not, are kind of, even like, for example, I won't be surprised if we have the data saying that Bournemouth have a easier pull than even in Inter at times. And I'm not throwing something there. It's just about the money factor, right?
No, it's already with Zaniolo. Like, let's look at you just last week. You almost went to Bournemouth without outbidding AC Milan for Zaniolo.
Exactly. In fact, Roma were wanting him to go, right? And it's just that he wanted to go to AC Milan. But obviously, AC Milan don't even have any money to leave. I know that new ownership, but come on, the stadium thing is going to happen. That's different. But that's a good question by Pujan for sure. Let's see. And well, again, people here, Tiger Bees, Ajinkya. I'm going to take out of topic questions towards the end of the stream. I'm starring them like always. Again, hit that like button. Let's share the stream as much as possible. I know that I'm streaming at a odd time than usual. The reason being that there are matches later today, and of course, the availability of panel also counts. Of course, so let's go with that, and of course, the algorithm works that way. But again, let's go back to the match. We'll come back to the transfers. But one guy, I think he's kind of related to Milan, Inter, and transfers. And I'm talking about Milan Skriniar, obviously. Milan Skriniar. And then what's the story around him? I thought that you had the best defense recently. I think at home this season, you have the best defense, right? If I'm not wrong, yeah, it's in Serie A.
I'm gonna have to double check. Yeah, at home we're quite good, but away is like, yeah, together both of us are really bad this season. I think we've conceded 26 goals this season. You guys have conceded 29. So, but yeah, at home I think we might have. I'll have to double check that one.
So, as in, I know money talks, obviously, and
Yeah.
I know it's a simple fact that the extension of contract is not happening. But don't you think that, as in, for him to go to PSG, as in where the defense is the only thing lacking, uh, again, like for me, I'm kind of surprised. I thought Milan Skriniar came across as like captaincy material, but how is he being treated by the Inter fans right now? Because I'm seeing a lot of messages on Twitter and social media generally.
Yeah, no, it's fresh as well at the moment. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of as you said, especially for me, like he's my favorite player at Inter as well. But this is a reason why I never get named at the back of my shirt. I never get named. The only name I have at the back of my shirt is Ronaldo R9 from it's like a vintage kit. Because yeah, that's just modern football. It's business both ways. The players is not just the club treating players as like assets. The players do the same. They find the next best offer and they move on. But yeah, I think mainly though, I think the fan base, Inter fans blame the management, the ownership more than Skriniar, because last year we gave renewals to Brozovic, Lautaro, Barella. They all got big pay bumps, big improvements to the pay. And then Skriniar, for some reason, even though his contract was coming up to renew, he wasn't. They kind of took him for granted. Like he always, like in the past, Skriniar's even fired his agent to like renew with Inter. So he's shown like with like actions that his loyalty to Inter. And he's spoken in the past that he wants to be like the hamstick of Inter in terms of staying at Inter long. But then they didn't give him the renewal, and at the end of the day, when PSG come, is just, I guess you could say we're unlucky. Like out of all clubs in the world, is the club that literally will just pay over the odds for you. So they've like tripled his salary in terms of offer, and now that he's signing for free at the end of the season to them, he's going to get a massive signing bonus as well. So it's like even our best offer, we got close to like 6.57 million net. It's still nowhere near PSG's offer.
They were, I think, 10 to 12 million is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was like
PSG's
9
offering.
plus bonuses, taking it to 11, 12. So yeah, it's nowhere near. So yeah, the mistake was not selling it in the summer basically now, which obviously in retrospect is easy to say now because no one, Inter fans, didn't want to sell him in the summer. PSG came up with about 50 million plus bonuses. We wanted 70, and we stuck to our demands. We wanted to get Skriniar out and Bremer in. Then Juventus came and stole Bremer, so we didn't have the Skriniar replacement, so we just kind of like didn't want to sell him in the end.
Yeah.
So obviously in retrospect, it looks like that was the move to make, but in reality, the move should have been get his renewal done. Even if you're going to sell him, just get the renewal done. And now you're losing a 50-60 million asset for nothing. So yeah, big loss for everyone involved, all parties involved.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the transfer replacements and stuff like that. But Sanjeev says, "Hello, this season watching AC matches is really depressing, Ankit Bhaiya." And I know. See, come on, Sanjeev, that's what I've been talking about. Be it for me, imagine Chelsea and AC Milan. Check out the combination. I know that we kind of fly high always, and that the spirits are trying to keep kept high. But honestly speaking, this is the season. In fact, I don't know. I have one theory. I don't know, Doug, whether you agree or not. I've spoken a lot about it to my subscribers here, but even again, people are joining newly. Do let me know, because for me, yes, I know Giroud has been scoring goals, and even Derby, which we were speaking about, he's actually done well. In fact, him and Lautaro both have fairly done well, if I'm not wrong, over the years, right? On this particular match, but Giroud, He's been scoring goals, but it's like the odd goal that is scoring. It's not like, Giroud, who's kind of, leading the team really as an on of the pitch. One more thing, yes, Ibrahimovic is not what he used to be. We all know that. The fact that he's not part of the UCL squad, and which was expected, the fact that you have an ACL kind of put together
Yeah.
all together again. I know that it's more like he's just a squad member, but for me, the leadership, the general leadership is kind of missing. So the fact that even Benacer signed a new contract and he was huge, I know he's still huge on the pitch. So these are things leading to me like Giroud's motivation was the World Cup. If I'm being really honest
Yeah.
and frank about it, then you have Benacer got a new contract, right? Ibrahimovic got to know he's not in the UCL squad, and that's it for him. Like I'm just wondering, and with Calabria coinciding with Calabria coming back, being that captain, for me the change in leadership hasn't really worked. It should have been. So is it the fact that Pioli has not been able to kind of manage the team the way that they were doing as a unit because of the senior players kind of backing him, or do you think I'm reading too much into it?
I think your biggest miss has been Maignan. Because I think because the thing
we
the
don't even
thing
have a
is,
goalkeeper right now, to be very honest about it.
yeah,
Let
that
me prime
that when you play in goal, is it Tatsuranu? Like,
Tata Rusara.
yeah,
I'll just tell him
he's
Tata
not.
bye bye. Seriously, man.
But no, I mean, mine has been a big miss. I think if you had him, I think you'd probably sort of be, a lot higher. But the thing is as well, I think I obviously watched Milan in the Champions League. Obviously, Chelsea and Milan in their Champions League group, right? And both games, like I was just like I obviously did. I think I did a watch alone actually to Milan Chelsea, and one of the things that really got me was the lack of sort of the press from Milan, like because usually, like last season, I thought Milan very good, sort of pressing, but this season is just a bit slow. Like I don't know, like I don't know, and obviously we saw that obviously Tomori was sent off for. I thought it was very harsh when he was sent off, but I just think something has happened this season with Milan, and it's good to see obviously Divock Origi get on off the score sheet. Obviously, ex-Liverpool, of course. I have to mention that. It was nice to see him score the other day, even though it was a 5-2 loss to, was it Sassuolo?
Sassuolo,
Was it?
and it's not the Sassuolo of De Zerbi. Let's be real. It's not that Sassuolo we're talking about, and that was what, like, I was the other day saying that okay, fine, it's Sassuolo, man. But again, you see where Sassuolo are, and then come on, at home that's embarrassing to the core. But you have a great point about that, Doug, because I think I kind of agree to that. But I'll ask Uncle Sharma, because again, I am also of the view that purely just like Klopp, we spoke about in the beginning part of the stream. I think he has. I know there are reports saying that tonight there might be some change in the formation. I just showed a formation. Let's see if he goes that way. But I think there might be. I don't know. Like even the injuries. I know it might sound as an excuse, but don't you think that yes, Tomori hasn't been good, but I think he's been singled out a lot of times because of the fact that I don't think you've got everyone available at the same time. Or do you think it's just time that Pioli needs to change the formation? Because for me, something's got to give, right? As in it's really missing. I don't think they're doing enough, whether it's leadership or defensive ability. I'm like, just start from scratch, go the proper Italian way. I don't know. Pioli, as in, I'm pretty sure when he was an Inter coach, how was he? I don't know if
yeah. Well, I mean, he wasn't there long enough. He was only there, like, yeah, we had a really good period when he first came.
Yeah.
We went through a nice streak, and 4-2-3-1. That was his thing back then as well. But then, there was always this thing with Pioli wherever he used to go until the Milan, that there was a Pioli like high, and then there would be just a massive drop where the team doesn't recover from it. And I hope for you guys. I mean, I hope it is true, but I hope for you guys this is not what's happening, where it's just kind of like, I mean. Speed told Rafa to come to the Premier League, and Rafa didn't seem to.
Actually, that's a good point, because even that guy, there's been so many reports that Milan had to come and put a statement out there that no, as in these are all rumors and things are happening. This is what. See, all this thing doesn't make, as in same. I can compare it to the Mason Mount situation in Chelsea. I know two different players altogether, but when left, right, and center, everyone's talking about you. and you are a young man, as in somewhere down the line, it'll affect you. And
Yeah, I mean Skriniar
even
himself the other few
yeah,
weeks ago he
exactly.
got sent off. We've never seen Skriniar getting sent off at Inter, and then all this talk is going on, and he gets two of the silliest yellow cards you'd ever see someone of the experience. Like even he's not even a young guy, 27-year-old, and you see him getting sent off. So that kind of stuff, that talk affects you for sure.
Yeah, but I'll stick with Uncle Shemaya because come on, as in this one, I don't know how it changed and when it changed. Why isn't Inter keeping Lukaku? As in, please let me know. Is it for real?
Well, you guys, we scammed you, then you guys somehow managed to like mini scam us back again.
I thought this scam. The whole plan was that. Come on, he was supposed to be back. He's loved by the Inter fans, and he's someone who loves Inter. As in, what happened? I know injuries
Yeah, I
happen,
think
and he's not fit
physically,
enough.
I don't know. Yeah, this is the first time in his career that he's had. I mean, he had some like injury issues at Chelsea as well last year, but this year he's been out for like 4 months, bro. Like he tore his one of the like the ligament in his thigh, so yeah, he's just not been. And then you know how he is. Even and then he got like a minor injury like a few weeks ago, but it's like it takes him like 2 or 3 weeks to get back into shape because of his like just the way he is. So I don't know, he's 28, he's going to be 29 I think this season. I don't know, he's been playing since Anderlecht, since 16 years of age. Like someone was saying that perhaps this is like his body is just, he's got the best out of that body that he possibly can now, and now it's just kind of maybe he's done at the top level, because that was the thing at Inter, especially like this guy never used to get injured. Conte used to like play him week in, week out, 90 minutes, non-stop, and this guy barely ever got injured. He's an absolute machine at United as well. Everton, like you look at his injury history, was like flawless, and now at 28, 29, he seems like he's getting more and more injuries, and yeah, maybe like physically he's dusted at the top level, which I hope not to be true. I hope at least he gives us the last few months and can contribute, but it might be
Just
true.
extend the loan. You got to give him benefit of doubt. Come on, he loves you, man, and you love him. Come on.
I read to be fair, I read today that Inter are still surprisingly still looking to renew the loan, but they will be trying to negotiate it down. Like we paid I think 8 million this year for the loan, so
No, we'll take an L. We'll take an L. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. It's not my money anyway.
wow,
And barely you know how much
desperation.
money he has. Let's be
Nah,
honest.
let Potter cook something. You need
No,
the
see,
proper
I'll come
striker.
to Doug on this. Doug, now you have seen Lukaku as an internationally in the Premier League when he was at
Yes.
his prime, so called, but as in, let's be honest, right now, I don't think he fits many clubs or even like in the national team because of his fitness. That's the reality of it. But the way Potter plays, and Potter is someone that we are looking at a long term project. I know in Chelsea it's always hypothetically of a long term project, but the reality is that it's looking like that. Otherwise, 600 million, why it would have come, right? I know maybe around 300 is what we are really using right now, and 300 for the future. But Lukaku, I wouldn't like to see that at all. I wouldn't like to see that at all. If him coming and wearing a Chelsea jersey, but I've said that in the past when Fabregas transfer happened, and I say Fabregas is magic right now because of what he used to have, the fights he used to have with Lampard when he was playing for Arsenal, and things happened, right? That's football.
Yeah.
But where are you? Lukaku's fitment, like hypothetically, let's say that Lukaku becomes fitter and Potter says, okay, fine, I'm ready to kind of, get you in and see, because Aubameyang, pretty sure he's going. Like it's written on the wall, right? And yeah, and we've already signed David Fofana. We already have Broya coming back maybe by November, is what the anticipation
Mm,
is because of his bad injury. I really doubt with Nkunku also coming that we may sign a striker. I know that we probably go knowing Boli, but
yeah.
if you are Potter right now, would you be like, get back Lukaku, see what he's going to offer? Or you're like, no, what Lukaku did Chelsea, just let him stare into take an L. What would you have done?
He doesn't really strike me as a sort of a Graham Potter kind of player.
Exactly.
Tuchel, I mean, the thing is with Lukaku, like I've always thought the Italian league was his best league. I think we've kind of seen now that yes, the Premier League was good for a bit. When he was at West Brom, he was fantastic. I remember him. I remember him at West Brom. Then obviously went back to Chelsea. Then Everton came in. They bought him as well. Then he makes a big money move to Manchester United. Again, that didn't kind of work. And then ever since then, like Inter Milan, he had a really, really good spell at Inter Milan. Chelsea need more players. Yeah, I think the one position you guys definitely need is a striker, because Havertz doesn't do it for me at all. And yeah,
bro, as in same like Liverpool. I think you guys have scored like 1 goal in the league or something like that this entire calendar
yeah.
year, and we are somewhere around that, not too far. So I think we kind of understand there. But see, that's the thing, right? Like I said, we already have a couple of strikers on the books. Unless we get rid of them, and that's the worst part. Like I think it's about taking L's. How many L's do we take? It's for Aubameyang and for Lukaku and for this and for that. Like, come on. I think there should be a limit. Bakayoko is still a Chelsea player, man. And Baba Rahman is a Chelsea player. Just think about it. And Bakayoko is an AC Milan player and Chelsea player. That's the best combination for me. That's why I love Giroud. But Bakayoko is like South Pole if Giroud is North Pole for me, right? So for me, Lukaku's he's kind of past that path. But you're right. In terms of footballing ability as well, like I don't see Potter using him. But again, who knows if it's going to be Potter or Todd Bowley, because apparently there were disagreements between Burley and Tuchel about Lukaku as well. I don't know if it's true, but that's something that came out in the press. So let's see what happens. But I still hope. Come on, Uncle Sharma has his contacts. I'm pretty sure. Do it, man. Just do it. Yeah, just loan. As in, we'll take an L. This L we are ready to take.
No,
I don't know about other Ls.
let's see. Like, I'm not against renewing the loan, but he needs to like start getting fit and performing. So yeah, maybe like in the predicted lineup you put up, he's starting today. So yeah, let's. He usually plays really well against the Milan and the derbies.
He does, right. But do you think it's unfair on Dzeko if he does?
Well, I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I think Dzeko will start. I don't think Lukaku will start.
Okay.
Because I think it will be the same team that beat you guys in the Super Cup. Yeah, because Dzeko is in form. But the thing is, you know what it is that Dzeko, he can also make an impact as a substitute, whereas Lukaku, when you give him like 10, 15 minutes, it's just like, he's like it takes him like a while to get into the game. So he'd be useless as a substitute. So if you're going to play Lukaku, do it from the start. So I can see that making sense. But I think it will be Dzeko. He's like, he's been one of our best players this season.
And I must say, Inter Milan, I am envious the fact that even Coppa Italia is doing well. I think you're meeting Juventus in April. And I know it's kind of off topic and we're coming back to the game for sure. But Doug, Juventus and generally Italian football, like, do you think, like, even for example, like this is an example, the watching that's going on right now, I'm pretty sure usually it's basically 4 times of this. But the fact is, one, it's an odd time. Second, it's basically because Serie A in general, I think the interest, maybe the excitement, maybe because Napoli doing bit too well and the competition is no longer there this season, or do you think it's also the Juventus factor? Doug, like, where do Juventus go from here? It's happening to them time and again after a few years, right? As in, what's your take on this?
I mean, I thought when they were sort of demoted to Serie C, I thought that was like the last of like what we saw from what happened. But no, obviously we were wrong. I can't believe what's happened there. I really, really can. I mean, the thing is, like, obviously, we all know that Agnelli wanted the Super League. I think that's pretty much straight obvious. He wanted the Super League. But to see this news, like Paratici, obviously he's now at Tottenham now. He's obviously been.
But I thought he's also banned, right? But I see him commenting all the time.
Yeah,
like,
I think.
What kind of a ban
he's
is that?
been banned.
Yeah.
I think he's been banned for about 2.5 years. I think.
But is it only Italian football? Because apparently he's kind of still involved in the dealings, and I was reading somewhere. It's kind of very strange.
I was wondering that. Like, I was actually wondering how Spurs managed to get like Dan Juma through the door, like at Paratici's. No, that honestly, Juventus are an absolute mess. And I did another watch along, which was obviously Benfica Juventus. Benfica should have beaten them about 7-3. It was embarrassing the amount of times defensively Juventus were absolutely a joke. And I am not a big fan of Allegri. I think he should have been potentially gone. I'm no idea why Juventus have kept on to him. And this is the thing is, like, Juventus, obviously named the old lady, their squad is aging pretty badly. We have to be honest. There are a couple of players to look at, and the young English boy who came on against Benfica, someone junior, he looked pretty good. So if they're going to sort of build that team sort of around him, then absolutely fantastic. But the way Juventus are going, I mean, I don't think the punishments are going. I don't think the punishments have stopped. I think there's going to be more and more and more punishments coming in. Don't be surprised if there's another points deduction. We could potentially see Juventus bottom of Serie A the way it's going.
Wow, that's a big statement though. I don't know, Uncle Shima, like, it's obviously related to transfers as well. According to you, I know that I saw tweets on Marcus Thuram, the fact that Burley let him go this time around, and I know that Marcus Thuram is probably, someone that probably would like, but cheeky bit for Juventus players, as in who are the players you see, kind of going. There are news of Pogba kind of coming back to the Premier League, a third attempt. I have no idea of that. I know he's a great player on his day, but that day doesn't come often enough. He's hardly kicked a ball for Juventus. But Vlahovic is an obvious candidate, I'm assuming. I know we are also laying Manchester United linked, but as in who are the players you think Juventus will be able to keep, next summer? As in, it's difficult to say, but as in any news that you have that probably you might have to see that, okay, these are proper fits, not a fit. Like Buffon was a player that stayed at Juventus through thick and thin.
Yeah,
do they have such players right now?
I don't know. You'll have to see. I mean, they say if you ask Juve fans, they'll say Chiesa because he's like a Juve fan like through and through and stuff like that. They think that Chiesa will be one that stick with them, but we'll have to see. When the stuff happens, then see who the real ones are. We'll find out who the real ones are.
Pretty sure if Mudryk and Gakpo wouldn't have come, one of our clubs would have gone for Chiesa, because I think we were interested last season beginning, and then we kind of bid verbally 85, and they wanted closer to 100. I'm like, no way. But yeah, he's a great player for sure.
But the ACL as well, we have to see how he comes back. Like he's started coming back now.
The initial signs are good. Must say that. But again, he was always class. As in De Siglio will stick with them.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Liverpool fans will love that.
Oh my god! I think Locatelli comes across one to me. Because the guys had options to leave, but he's not left. So maybe put it that way. But again, it's interesting where he goes. But again, coming back to the Inter Milan, for people out there, in case you don't know, I don't know if it makes sense to kind of show the form. It's kind of embarrassing. But see, this is the form, and that's the reason I said that I will take even a draw. I know in terms of Serie A, the table, we are nowhere. Let's go with predictions. I don't know, Doug. What do you think? Firstly, the match, and I know I'm not even showing the table for a reason. Scudetto holders, and I don't want to show the table right now. But Doug, what is your prediction for tonight, and of course, the season for
what time's kickoff? Is it
it's 1:15 in India, so that would be around
7:45.
7:45, yeah.
Oh, watch that after Spurs Man City. Yes, please.
I think Barca Sevilla kind of kicks off at the same time. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
and I'll have to check if it's on TV. Anyway.
Yeah. So like, I'll obviously get my BT Sport app and look at like, There's Inter AC Milan. I've got to be honest, I can only see an Inter win here. I've got to be honest. I just think the way Inter AC are playing at the moment, I just think you badly need Mainan back. I think you need Mainan back pronto. Will I be kind, or will I be really, really, really
See,
bad?
that's the thing, right? As in the injury list is kind of, as in again, it sounds only 4, but 3 of these 4 would start every game. They start every game, right? As in that's the worst part of it. And this stage, I probably need that. But yeah, then I hear you. And about the season, like, are you seeing again? Let me actually show. Let's not be very naughty here. I'll try and show you the full table as well. But yeah, as in, I don't know if you guys are able to see on the right hand side. So basically, we are 5th, of course, right? Lazio. I think we should be able to take over Lazio. I don't know, I know that they beat us 4-0, and I'm saying it so confidently.
Sarri ball, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Let's hear from Uncle Sharma. What do you think? I know that being an Inter fan, you wouldn't want us to get there, but honest opinion, what's your prediction for the match as well as the season?
Yeah, no, it's like, as I like to, especially derbies, you can never predict, but it's like literally it couldn't be lined up more nicely for Inter in terms of smashing Milan. Like you're coming through such a bad period. It could be the nail in the coffin for Pioli as well, like for his job. Hearing the reports around in Italy, so it really could, we could put a big, massive dump on your season if we beat you guys. And yeah, without Magnon, like we need to be. I don't know why. Like even the last derbies, like you need to just shoot whenever like you anywhere near goal, just take a shot, shoot from anywhere.
I must be honest. I am disappointed, or rather underwhelmed by D. Ketlare. I think the guy, has taken much more time than what I anticipated. Also, I don't know if you guys agree. Same thing, like when you kind of end that contract, when things are not sure. Brahim Diaz is another person that I didn't speak about. I think he had a very good start as an end to last season as well as the start, but then he kind of tapered off. Again, Messias is someone who's entering is probably the stage that you don't want to be talking about much. Salem Akars has never been the guy. Let's be honest, and that's why D. Ketlare kind of was signed, and we wanted Ziyech, we wanted Zaniolo, but these things don't happen.
Your team every time, even last season, gave all the prop and credit that you guys deserve, but it when it just didn't on paper, it just never, it doesn't give you that fear factor. It's just like the fact that you won last season is just a massive.
Yeah, I think the first 11 last season was still very good on form. I would say first 11 I would still argue, but I hear about the squad, and that's been the problem. Let's be honest. Well, again, I'm hoping for that as well. The guy has again, there are a lot of players like that who have a touch of class, and he seems to be one of them. But again, for me, he has to physically, develop. As in, for me, he's physically too weak, and that shows a lot of times in tackles and things like that, and he's easily kind of beaten. But I don't know. Let's see. As in, hopefully, we kind of get through someone. And again, I think you're right. The moment we start talking about Pobega trying to get starts, we know there's a problem. We know there's a problem. I don't see this happening. Krunic and Pobega are probably fighting for the starting spot. Imagine that's the scene that we are in. But Korea, I wanted to speak to you about. As in, I know he's injured, and I don't get me wrong.
He's done, man. He's done.
He's done, right? Exactly.
Yeah. He gets booed every time he comes on the pitch. Now he gets booed by Inter fans, so that he's done. Like Inter. He's probably our biggest flop of the last decade. 31 million euros.
I think Barca were linked to him very strangely. I know it's just
I think it's just one of those, like, because Depay was on his way out, and they were like, like for like replacement. But yeah, he's done. He's done at Inter.
Is this the career that was at Atletico Madrid?
No. That Korea is the one that took this Korea's spot for the World Cup.
The Argentine squad as well.
Oh, right. Okay.
This was Joaquin Korea. He played for Lazio and Sevilla, and then the Atletico Madrid Korea. He's the one that's been at Atletico for like a long while now.
Goodness.
Right. Again, everyone watching, do hit that like button. Again, I hope you guys have checked out Uncle Sharma as well as Dugout Ball channel. Please, people, do check it out. I know that, as a matter of fact, these guys know the football. So hopefully everyone is subscribed to them as well. And yes, I would like to hear what are the predictions of everyone in the chat. This is Inter Milan versus AC Milan. I know technically at home versus AC Milan, we kind of have a upper hand in leagues, etc. But I think form goes out of the window. I think history goes out of the window when it comes to Derby. And that's, I think, in a strange way, it's actually good for AC Milan because Inter Milan are favorites, and that's something that, again, one of the things that I liked about AC Milan is not just Chelsea, right? Against all odds or a thing. I think even Inter kind of believes that. But Roma, I wanted to speak a little bit about Roma. Mourinho, he had the option to go to Portugal. There were news, but he kind of stuck around Roma. He's already achieved history with Roma, getting them the European trophy. I know it was Conference League, but again, I'll probably throw this question to Uncle Sharma before he goes. I know that he has to go, but yeah, Uncle Sharma, I wanted to hear from you. What do you think about Mourinho's future? Like, do you see Roma, and even if they're winning, why are they getting criticized so much?
Well, you know how it is. Like the style of football is always this year. Like last year was kind of actually Roma were really quite entertaining. This last year that was quite surprising. But yeah, this year he's taken it back to the Mourinho roots of sitting back and then let Dybala and the others like
Abraham does more defensive work than offensive.
Yeah. But yeah, Dybala's been really good for them. And Tammy's picked up form. They're amazing on set pieces. Like yesterday, they scored 2 goals within 10 minutes just from corners. They have such a tall team: Smalling, Ibanez, Mancini, Cristante, Matic, Tammy. Like the team is big in the air. So I think they're the best team actually in Europe for set pieces. So they're really taking advantage of that this year. But yeah, I don't know. He's got his 3-year contract, so I think he's in his second year now. I think he's probably going to evaluate his options. But the Portugal job is gone now, so there's no.
So there's one job which is remaining in the summer potentially. You know what I'm talking about here.
Which one?
Um,
Chelsea.
yeah, third time coming. As in, I'll be very surprised. I said no to that, to be honest, because
No,
I
I
think
don't think Bowley would go for that type of coach.
yeah.
Yeah. But no, I
That's probably for the
think it
romantics.
depends on how much investment, because the Friedkin, the Roma owners are quite ambitious, but as we talked about, just the revenue streams in Italy are just not big enough. Even this past summer, it was a lot of free transfers, Dybala, Celik, Belotti, just
No, I think the reason he was linked is because he has experience, working with those big names, or rather, expensive players, so to speak, and obviously knowing Chelsea. But again, great to have you, Uncle Sharma. Doug, I hope you're around for a few more minutes. But shout out here
of
to
course,
Uncle Sharma. People, again, do hit that like button, but more importantly, do subscribe to Uncle Sharma. Fantastic content creator. Hopefully, I think he'll be around over 5K any moment, but I think he deserves 15K, and same with Doug. So let's get them to that, absolutely. And of course, wish you all the best. But it's not for the match; it's for the rest of the season.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be reacting to an Inter win later on tonight. But yeah, thank you for having me on, Ankit. As always, good to see you, Doug, and good to see some familiar names from my channel coming over. So yeah, make sure you guys are subscribing to Almighty Blues.
Okay, see you. Of course, people, you are going to be here for a few more minutes, so stick around. Of course, Doug is here, and we'll take a few questions. And of course, because the Liverpool and the Chelsea story is not over, I know that's never going to be over, at least for this season. But because we'll take a few more comments. Again, I request everyone, and I mean everyone, to hit that like button and subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing. We do content literally on all top 5 leagues, and so does Doug. And of course, even Uncle Sharma, although he may not seem like it, but trust me, he knows a lot of football. So let's go do that. He's okay. Interesting for sure. I will support Inter only if they agree to buy Lukaku. That's a good one. That's a good one. Do we see Klopp dropping some big names against Everton? Well, again, we'll come to that. But Doug, early calls here, because we spoke about the formation, but is it the personnel or the formation of both for the Everton game?
Well, he once dropped. He once had Solanke in instead of Salah. So he could potentially go for a Harvey Elliott on the right hand side. For me, formation has to be 4-2-3-1. I just don't think we've got the personnel to play I don't think we've got the good question to play the 4-3-3 anymore. I don't think we've got the personnel to play 4-3-3. So yeah, for me, it'd be the 4-2-3-1. I'm never going to be Klopp out. Never going to be Klopp out. I'm one of these people who always seems to, back the manager. And obviously, I support.
But does he need help? Maybe I don't know, because there's a lot of people saying that the fact that about the director of football kind of moving, Michael Edwards, right? What's his name, right?
Julian Ward's he's leaving in the summer. Michael Edwards, apparently, I did read that obviously we do get new owners, they want him back, which would be quite interesting.
Yeah, but I thought he had a disagreement of sorts. Was it not?
There were talks about. Well, I think with what I've been reading anyway, Julian Ward's had a bit of disagreement with someone, and obviously FSG, and obviously he's wanting to leave for some apparent reason. Apparently he can't do his job. There's obviously been disagreements between Tom Werner, John Henry. It's really, really interesting to see what will happen. Firmino was meant to be apparently going to Saudi Arabia. I don't know if that was in the pipeline or anything, but no, I
think he's in that category, right? Where Klopp, I know Firmino's been great, but I think Klopp is probably trusting Firmino, Milner, as in few of them a bit too much. Would you put Firmino in that category?
I think Firmino's going to sign a new contract. I can see him. I think Firmino is now at a stage in his career where I think he's just going to probably be happy to be at Liverpool. I mean, he's the only one out of obviously Mane and Salah that's not really sort of asked to leave or anything like that. Like he's just gone down. He's just gone on playing with
But
his.
it's surprising, right, Doug? Because the fact that in my opinion, he was kind of unlucky not to go to the Brazil squad, considering the amount of injuries they had at the time. But
Yeah.
again, that's what it is. I'll give you an example, like Giroud. Since we are anyway speaking about the Milan Derby as well, Giroud had apparently offers to come to Everton on loan,
Hmm.
but he said no. I want to be the main man in Milan. Rather, one is because probably I don't know, it's just the lifestyle that you're comfortable with. Maybe for me, it was no more comfortable here, but probably he can become the bigger fish in a smaller pond. You know what I mean? So he can go and kind of be the main man, considering that he wasn't there for Brazil and he's still not very old. I think he can get back to the Brazil team.
Yeah.
What will be his chances to get back to the Brazil team if he stays in Liverpool? So don't you think that it's not the right motivation for him to stay on? Like, or maybe I'm just being unfair. I don't know.
That's a good point. I mean, I think Firmino was very unlucky not to be in the Brazil squad. That was amazing he wasn't in it. To be honest, I was very, very amazed he wasn't in. And obviously, you get the injury to obviously Gabriel Jesus. It's just Firmino for me. If he stays, fantastic. If he wants to go, then I think Liverpool fans will probably say yes, he's done amazing things for us.
Yeah.
Then I think Inter would. I think he'd be a good fit, like an Inter or a
Obviously, the Darwin
Milan or
Nunez's
something like that.
lack of say finishing hasn't helped, but I still am of the opinion that Darwin Nunez, like you have a player on you. He's not like I know people are comparing him to Werner. I can see why. I can see why, but at the same time, I think Darwin Nunez, honestly, he hasn't been used uh, correctly as well. Yes, he's
Yeah.
coming back from injury. Even after coming back from injury, I could see at least 2 to 3 back-to-back games that Darwin Nunes came on as a left winger. I agree he has a pace, but
Hmm.
he's not a Werner. He's really someone
No.
he's more direct, right? So you
Yeah.
would like to be for him to be upfront. So it was very strange of Klopp to kind of use Gakpo in that role, even when both of them were on the pitch, wasn't it? So I think
Yeah.
somewhere down the line, maybe Firmino extending is the fact that Klopp, the way he thinks, is that we've had Gakpo playing the centre forward role because Nunes not be able to, so we'd rather have a centre forward, extend his contract as an option. As in, that's the only reason that
Yeah.
I'm thinking of. But I don't know. Indian scouser is like, yeah, as in lack of scouting in midfield. I don't think it's scouting. It's more about I think the people who are scouted are not available, right, Doug?
Yeah.
Wasn't some,
Yeah. For me, well, the big thing is apparently we're wanting Bellingham. I think that's the main thing. But
yeah,
I think that's becoming a lot more unlikelier by the minute. And the thing is, the defense has been very, very poor.
yeah,
Robertson has been. I think Robertson's been the bear of a worser sort of three. Trent's not been at it this season. Gomez, I've got to be honest. Gomez for me is more a right back now than a centre back. He gives me
yeah,
butterflies every time he's at the back. Matip, I think, is another one. Matip has been a very good signing. He was a free transfer from Schalke,
correct.
and when we
Schalke.
got him, he was very, very good. But again, players decline, and it's getting to that stage now where like Kanati is still young. I like Kanati, but again, he's been susceptible as well. But I think we just need a big, big refresh. And as Indian Scouser said, there were funds there for a midfielder, and we didn't go for it.
Is Darwin is really that bad? No, again, like I said, I think the way I see it, I don't think it's been. It's just that when you sign someone at a big number, they're bound to be getting more what do you say criticism if you make a small mistake. Yes, he's made mistakes, but at the same time I think some of the brighter moments of Liverpool have also come with Darwin Nunes. Correct me if I'm wrong, Doug. Like he kind of
Yes.
gives you hope, but at the same time that hope kind of goes to shed. I understand that totally.
Yeah.
So it's kind of bittersweet, is what I'm assuming if you're a Liverpool fan. But again, as an opposition fan, I think he's pretty confident that same thing he's comparing. I know not comparing, but saying same thing happened with Suarez. And I know there are two things
Yes.
as an opposition fans would like to say the two people who signed together, Andy Carroll and Suarez. Opposition fans are saying that he's Andy Carroll, and he himself is saying he's Suarez. I think it's somewhere in between. For me, he's someone who kind of he's overzealous. Like, you know what? He does a bit too much at times. So because of which,
Yes.
and even Werner, and that's why he's compared with that, because Werner used to be offside all the time, and there was a reason why. Because this guy always wanted to be there no matter what, and he was like, no. At some point, everything became offside, and he got so less goals, everything cancelled out, and then his confidence went to shreds. So I hope that doesn't
Yes.
happen to Darwin Núñez as a neutral, but let's see how he does. I still feel he's good. I think, yeah, Jatin says he should play a winger. Period. I think for me, he reminds me of a Depay, doesn't he? Doug, a young Depay, Gakpo.
Gakpo, yes, yeah, he does. The thing is, he did actually play sort of that striker role for Holland in
Yeah, he did.
the World Cup, and then he
But
sort
they
of
kind of
drifted
rotate,
down.
right? Between
Mhm.
Gakpo and Depay, they kind of rotate. Like it's almost like how
Yeah.
Chelsea are probably going to be trying with Havertz and Felix. We don't have literally a striker apart
Mm,
from Aubameyang who's not in favor, right? So I
yeah.
think Gakpo needs that. But again, is Darwin Núñez that guy who'll rotate positions? Like, do you see him playing that role like a Depay plays?
He likes to drift out to the left at times. I've seen him
Mhm.
sort of drift out to the left, and then obviously Gakpo or Salah sort of go into the middle.
Right.
But the thing is, for me, I think Darwin Núñez is a player that will only get better. I think as well. I think people forget this. This is actually only his fourth season in professional football. Like he only had like one season at Almeria, and then obviously a couple of seasons at Benfica. And then obviously we got him as well. So he is still very, very raw. He's still very, very rash with obviously some of the things he does, but he will learn. He will learn, and I think as well. I think he will come good. I even said this season, like if he gets between sort of 10 to 15 goals in all comps, I think I'd be happy with that.
Okay, that's interesting. And again, like at Chelsea for sure, I'll take such a striker. You know what it means, right? In terms of striker scoring goals for Chelsea, that hasn't happened. Like let's just say that off late, right? As in the last striker who really scored for Chelsea is Tammy. After Tammy, maybe
Yeah.
Giroud, Tammy, and that's it. And before that, Diego Costa. And I think we've not had in the last couple of years anyone who kind of does that. But again, like I think we agreed upon, like Lukaku does not fit Potter. I don't think Giroud or Tammy fitted Tuchel as well. So I kind of
Yeah.
saw why Tuchel wanted to sell them. Okay, let's take this. Gakpo is also not able to perform because his position has been changed in every game. No, it's a good point.
Mhm.
Plus, I don't think he has a midfield behind him to kind of give him that space and give him that kind of pass or give him the time. And I think we all know that when it comes to Liverpool and Chelsea, and again, common, then the midfield are missing, and that's why we went and bought Enzo at crazy money. And sometimes you need to do that. And I know Klopp, he's always going to be disagreeing with that. Let's be honest in terms of money, but Doug, come on, as in let's be honest. Like it's not that Liverpool haven't spent, right? As in you spend, but you spend right money. But pretty sure you've been selective in your spending. But I think Liverpool has spent a lot of money. At the end of the day, you know your history. Come on, Manchester Uniteds of the world, like beat the successful teams of the 2000 early 2000s or late 90s. Everyone spent money, didn't they? Like Real Madrid,
Yeah.
Galacticos. So why is it like I know Chelsea came in late to the party, but then we came bigger? Is it the reason why we are kind of hated? Because there's no reason. There's pretty sure that we are hated more, right?
I think unfortunately now we're in a situation where I think FSG were very, very good when they came in, and now I think they've kind of seen the way that Chelsea have been spent. And the thing is, I'm one of these people that actually applauds the Chelsea sort of spending, because I think you're actually building for the future. You're not actually sort of buying these players just to sort of be like squad players and obviously be sort of players in the background. It's obviously planning for the future. And like look at some of the signings you've signed, they're sort of like under sort of 20 years of age. Like I like what you guys are doing. Yes, I know you've spent a lot of money as well, but we're in a situation where I think Newcastle are going to spend, Manchester United are going to spend. I think now we're in a situation where we need new owners, we need fresh investment, and as well, I think FSG are kind of they've made their money now on Liverpool. It's safe to say. I mean, they bought us for 300 million back in 2010. Like we were in the relegation zone when they bought us. I think many people forget that we had just lost 2-1 to Blackpool, and then all the talk was that Hodgson was going to, I think, get another couple of weeks. Obviously, got until January, and then he was signed. and then they came in and saved us. But this time, I think we're just seeing now that I think they're now seeing the situation with what's happening. Obviously, Manchester United are going to probably be brought over as well. FSG can't compete with that now, and I think they're now finding a situation now where they say we either stay or we either just want to get fashion investment. But the problem is as well, they ain't going to sell to anybody unless it's like offers of like 2.5 billion or 3 billion, because they have made their money on Liverpool. They've probably 12 times their money what they bought us for.
Exactly. See, it comes down to that. It comes down to the money part anyway. So that's something that we'll see what happens, in the summer. Again, I know that Manchester and Liverpool particularly are waiting to see what happens, because it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
And then whatever deal happens, as much as Chelsea have been like the most expensive, Newcastle were not too long back. But I don't know. Are you changing? Are you seeing like? Are you fearing what probably we feared when Roman went away? Like at least for a few months, we were like, okay, man. As in, it still can be that we are back to 2000 2004. Remember, 5 years Chelsea won nothing after 2000. So I was almost fearing that, like Liverpool. Yes, again, not a banter, but the fact is, like, it took you a lot to win the league, and you've been so close to the league with Klopp. So somewhere down the line, you have that fear, don't you? That if in case the ownership changes, and of course, what if they're not even like an FSG, and what if Klopp is changed? So see, is that the reason why it's like knowing Liverpool as a culture? Because as in it's the continuity is something which keeps going, as in, so do you see this transforming better, or do you see no, as in you need a change at some point at the senior management for things to change?
I feel like we need a change very, very soon. But whether or not that happens is another matter. I mean, some reports are saying that they want a minority shareholder to come in. Some other reports are saying they want a majority of an investment as well. But I think FSG are going to be at Liverpool for the time being. And I think the fact that they haven't sold us yet is going to be very, very intriguing. I'm not sure we'll get sold in the near future, but hopefully something will happen maybe towards the end of the season. But at this moment in time, I highly doubt it.
Yeah, and again, see, Anup saying everyone's spending, especially in Premier League, everyone is. Anup, let's be honest, Anup, I think is a Real Madrid fan, if I remember right. Now, beat the Galacticos, beat Barcelona last season, or beat Barcelona when they bought Coutinho, for example. So I'm just saying, there is always a cycle for every club, and even Liverpool. Like the season, did you not buy Virgil van Dijk and Alisson from the Coutinho money? Was it
Yes,
not? Like, if I'm
that's
not
right.
wrong, correct?
Yep.
Somewhere down the line, I know that's reinvestment, but technically you did upgrade your squad, and that's an asset that you use. So somewhere down the line, it is, be it money or assets, that's how it is. And again, like that's the thing. Super League, pretty sure, Doug, which side of the coin you are on Super League. Again, the talks have begun, and we briefly discussed about that, but it's probably inevitable now, considering that
I think it is inevitable. I actually think the Premier League is almost becoming like a bit of a Super League. If we're being honest, I mean the amount of money that Premier League clubs are spending. I think we've outspent like Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga. I mean, let's be honest, La Liga is in a bit of a financial problem. Let's be honest. It's safe to say that. And I just think the Premier League is starting to become sort of a Super League. But I think Super League potentially, like the Champions League format, is changing very, very soon as well. And
see, that's the thing. I maybe I'm just old school, Doug. I'm just old school. Put it that way. As in, us 90s kids are one of those. At least I am one of those. As in, for me, there's so much is changed in football already. Why change so many things so quickly? That's my point. When the Champions League new stuff is coming, then why bring the Super League in between? Or you bring that and don't change the Champions League, or don't have that at all. So for me, there as many changes you're speaking, it makes it even more difficult. Right now, like let's think about, like, say, my country, India, right? And even in Canada, for example, right? There are countries where football, while it's developing at the roots level in terms of following, there's still a kind of crowd polling, a kind of clickbait which happens, and I'm being real, just as a content creator, which is not something which I would really like to recommend, and I always openly do it on the channel. Doug knows that very well. So for me, football is much more to it. So for me, Super League will bring about that kind of following in this few clubs. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Compared to
yeah.
others, like there will not be another Ankit. Like I became a fan of Chelsea in 1999. Why? Because here was a team trying to kind of get over the top four, and they were not in the top four. Let's be honest, in the 90s, and that's how they kind of wanted to get there. And even say, for instance, many of them became a Leicester fan in 2016 because of the story that
Hmm.
Leicester had, right? And there are, like, I have a friend in India who's actually a Leicester fan. He's come on the channel, and he speaks so highly of them. So for me, those stories will not happen. You know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
underdog story, that kind of, as in, just like when we say, even play football manager, for instance, you want to start from a lower league, get up to the top, that romanticism is lost.
Yeah.
Again, maybe I'm just old school, and I just don't want too many changes. But yeah, Yatin says, no, on that paper, on the proper DM thing, I feel that's Enzo is talking about. He will have very good impact when going forward. And I feel Fofana should start over Havertz. It's high time now. Yes. Yatin, I know Chelsea, we discuss literally in every stream. So I've kind of kept just a little bit of Chelsea in this conversation, in this stream. But quickly, if I have to pitch in here, एक चीज बोलना चाहूंगा भाई. Havertz, as much as he's criticized, and I know he should be criticized, Mason Mount as well, I am just on a broken record saying that I would like them to be benched. I would like them to be kind of proving themselves. But at this point in time, I still feel that they've not been tried in their proper position. And that is where the confidence has gone from bad to worse, because they're not those players. So somewhere down the line, you need to play them to the strengths and not to the weaknesses. And that's what Potter is missing. That's why jury is out for me on that basis alone. But I hear you about Enzo. Like, if Enzo gets a
Mm,
Declan Rice, now, come on, please say that Declan Rice is more suited to Chelsea or Arsenal. Please, come on. Now that Jorginho has gone to Arsenal.
yeah. No, I think the rumours about Rice to Arsenal is ridiculous, beyond belief. I can see Declan Rice going to Chelsea. I think he's obviously there as a young boy. I can definitely see him at Chelsea. I think all this Arsenal rumours is just complete nonsense.
Yeah, and again, like it comes down to whether Liverpool or Manchester United get new owners as well. Remember, God,
Yeah.
you never know. It's not over still. Trust me, Declan Rice is not Bellingham, but he plays with Bellingham a lot. So that might actually make some difference come the summer. You never know. I'm not going to rule out Liverpool as well as Manchester United. But again, a lot of football that we've discussed around. I believe I would have started a couple of questions. Yeah, let's move on to the Serie A before ending the stream. Kvaratskhelia, quick prediction. Where does he end up? Napoli winning the league? I don't think there's a question mark there.
Oh
Pretty
no,
sure.
not player winning the league.
Yeah.
Definitely.
They
Unless
might as
obviously
well
they have a
get to the finals of the Champions League. Who knows? The way they're playing,
yeah.
You never know.
Kvaratskhelia. This is the problem when you're not a Milan or a Juventus. Kvaratskhelia, I think he's City bound. Being honest, I can see him being City bound.
City bound. Okay, interesting. Yeah, as in the fact is Grealish is not your starter and Foden has attitude issues. I know there is just paper talk, but if that's the case, you never know. There might be some changes coming. But I have predicted Kvaratskhelia when Barca get the money at that season, he'll go to Barca. I just feel that they need a left winger. Barca.
Mm,
They don't have a left winger. I don't think Torres or Fati have really done the job. I know Pedri can play there, but Pedri is really a cam. If you ask me, he's more like behind the striker. He plays best. So does Gavi, more like a box to box. So I think it might just be Barca, but the money is the factor. Napoli is never easy to do business. We know better than anyone. The
no,
moment
definitely
they
not.
think, and you see, Doug, as in we were lucky to get Jorginho, but again, he was great in Europe. I think really underrated in Europe, but Premier League, no. Let's be honest. Then maybe that's why they let him go for that amount of money. Then Koulibaly. They gave us a finished Koulibaly, bro. What player he was and what he's coming to Chelsea. Like, maybe it's just the fact that it's change of environment. Maybe not blame Napoli totally, but even him and them. You remember Higuain was a Chelsea player
Yeah,
at what point? So we don't get players from Napoli. As in, for Dries Mertens, they didn't allow. For a 31-year-old Dries Mertens, they didn't allow him to come. Crazy. But anyway, that's how it is. Mitoma, yeah, he might You never
he's
know. So
brilliant.
Mitoma, yeah, I can see someone like Napoli or someone like that, as in taking he'll go to Europe. I think he'll go to Europe. I don't see him staying in the Premier League. Maybe if someone of the left wingers fail, but I think Luis Diaz is coming back from injury. I rate him big time.
Yeah,
Luis Diaz is
yeah.
fantastic. Again, it depends on how his injury is. But anyway, let's see everyone. And yes, people, thanks a lot for coming on here. Yes, it's a big night. We have Barca versus Sevilla. I think Real Madrid's match is going to start in about 15 minutes. So, people, Real Madrid fans in the house, do let me know what are you saying. Pretty sure your Real Madrid should be favorites today. I don't think there's a reason to be doubtful of that. I still feel that the Champions League, once it starts, then you have your question mark coming. But Mallorca against Real Madrid, I'm calling a Real Madrid win. Doug, Barca versus Sevilla. What are you calling tonight? Barca. They're doing well, as in supposedly the best defense in
Yeah.
Europe. Christensen doing well.
Barcelona are doing really well. I think they'll probably sneak that Sevilla game. Yeah, I fancy Barca. I think there's definitely a difference to this Barcelona side this season than sort of last season. Say Spurs. Well, thing is,
what are you hoping?
What am I hoping? I don't like both, but obviously Spurs are lesser of the two.
Basically, what I'm asking, Doug, is do you want Arsenal to win the league or not? You get it?
Do I want Arsenal to win the league?
Answer is no. He doesn't want anyone. He just wants Liverpool, and same thing I would say about Chelsea. But
yeah,
even as a Chelsea fan, I'm saying I don't mind it. I know people won't like it. Chelsea fans won't like it, and me myself, I'm on. But the fact is, see, as in we all say, Premier League is the most competitive league. Yes, in games it is, but in terms of the entire season, it's not. If you really say, it's only been Liverpool and City in the last 5 years. Before that, it was Chelsea in the bag, right? We need a fourth team, and that is probably Arsenal.
Oh, yeah. I think City will win today. But the thing is, they've played 4 games at that new stadium, and they've not even scored a goal yet. So they basically need to get over that. They need to basically get the win, and they basically need to try and score. But Spurs are Spurs, and it depends if Conte's out in the dugout as well. Because I
believe he's not right. So I think
I think he's had
he's having a surgery, right?
Gallbladder or something.
Yeah, it's inflamed. So I don't think he's going to be there again. Wish him well. Whatever it is, the guy is a manager for sure. Like Osimhen, I'll be surprised.
I've always thought he's United bound, Ankit. I don't know about you, but I just just something about him says United for me. Don't know why.
See, the fact is, a lot of African players have come to Chelsea in the past. Just saying.
That's true.
I won't be surprised knowing Ten Hag that Weghorst, as a super sub, you just sign him. I won't be surprised with that. I'm saying we might just go, and we are also linked with Osimhen as well. But again, Napoli, I don't think it'll be easy for me. For me, they will keep hold of them. Imagine if they win the Scudetto, they don't want to do what AC Milan did. You know what I mean? So they want to kind of either build or keep the players. So I don't think they can let go if they really are wanting to be, the next powerhouse. Because see, Juventus are for a good few years. I don't think they're coming back this time. It'll be difficult for them.
No,
maybe
definitely
3 years at least, right? Then Inter Milan, yes, building, but again, Inzaghi is he the kind of manager kind of gets them to that, you know what I mean, actual level. With all due respect, Milan, they've been inconsistent. We don't have a squad. We don't have money. So I think Napoli, if they really want to stamp an authority, this is the time, if I'm being honest.
Oh, definitely. For me, I think Napoli are one of these dark horses for the Champions League. I think the game that they've got against Eintracht Frankfurt will be a very interesting one. But over the 2 legs, I think you'd expect Napoli to sort of come forward and go through in that. But one of their standout players for me, and I don't think he's been mentioned highly enough, is Zambo Anguissa.
You know what? I called him that. Why didn't Chelsea go for him? I know Napoli is difficult to do business from, but the fact is he had Premier League experience Fulham, right? And he did pretty well even in Fulham. I remember that him and during those times, Loftus-Cheek was in Fulham, if you remember. And he had gone on loan. He had a decent half season there as well. And see, that was the surprising part of Potter. For me, like Loftus-Cheek played in Fulham, he knows Fulham. Still, he didn't get him back from injury and play him in the last game, or even as a substitute. Not that he's great, but a Zamba Anguissa kind of player, like we aren't going for such players. But again, hopefully we will. I shouldn't be too greedy. I know that I'm probably wanting every player now that I've got a bad, happened again that we got back in 2003. Doug, but trust me, I remember I tell you all the time. 2003-4 was the toughest year for me as a Chelsea fan, bro. As in here, as in at least in India right now, people know a lot. But at that time, I was like this minority, one guy that come on, a Chelsea fan. You know what I mean? And I was already a Chelsea
Yeah.
fan. I was following for a good few years. And then came 2003 when all this money came, and then all the hate came to me and no social media. It used to be on the face. You know what I mean? It was like dirty, dirty shit. I'm telling you honestly. But I hope this time it doesn't happen. I know social media is crazy, but people, like I said, warning all the Chelsea fans, Liverpool fans as well. There will be a lot of hate coming because of the fact that when we are down, and especially as when you're putting so much money, still we are down to 9th, 10th, 11th places, we're going to take a lot of hate. You got to absorb sometimes, and that's the reality of it.
Yep.
Barca, yeah, Somidip, definitely. I think Zubimendi looks a good bet. To be honest, I think he looks certainty, but again, it comes down to money, I believe. But again, great. Anup wants Vlahovic. All the best to Real Madrid. Getting maybe I thought Harry Kane, but anyway, we'll take that for now. Thanks a lot, Doug, for coming on again. People do check
Pleasure.
out Dugout Football channel. Doug, if you would like to please talk to the chat and tell them, what you bring on the channel. And of course, people who check out his content even on our channel.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a basic football channel. I do Liverpool content. I do a lot of Premier League content, similar to what Ankit does. Watch-alongs. I do Champions League, Bundesliga. Try to do a bit of Serie A. Try and do a bit of La Liga. I'm just trying to sort of build my channel. I have a big sort of hopes for this coming season. And next season I'll have big more ideas as well. But yeah, do come and check me out at the Dugout Football channel. I'll definitely have Anchor on, even if it's a Liverpool Chelsea preview or if it's a Liverpool Real Madrid.
We just need an excuse to talk football, man. As in, come on, as in,
Yeah,
that's not an
definitely.
issue. But again, great. Again, I hope everyone has, as well as Uncle Sharma. Shout out to him as well. Like I always say, like again, for people, if you guys trust me, trust them. Simple as that. I trust them. I've learned a lot of things from Doug. To be very honest about it, this guy learns a lot, and so does Uncle Sharma. And hopefully, everyone watching, if you're from their channel, so hopefully you subscribe to us, because at the end of the day, we're all fans. It's a community that we're trying to build, and of course, there's a lot of banter which goes on, but healthy banter. That's what we are able to coexist for. It's great, absolutely. And of course, for people, again, it's a fan channel for all to see, where we kind of alternate the content, alternate the panel, alternate the language, because at the end of the day, it's a language of football. We always love that. But talking about that, all the best to Real Madrid fans. All the best to hopefully AC Milan fans more than Inter Milan, and me included. And of course, Doug, the best for the season, and Barca fans as well tonight. I was trying to do a watch along, but I'm not sure at this point in time. If I have the energy, I'll do it. But the fact is, my TV is spoiled, Doug. So now what I'm doing is I'm doing it online. And because of that, it lags for like 25 seconds. So that's the thing. So I'm trying to work on that, but hopefully I get you a watch along. Not sure about City Spurs, but I'll try and bring one of the watch alongs tonight. But Doug, see you soon. And of course, big up to everyone. Like, share, and subscribe. And all the best, Milan. Come on. Let's do comeback. Make a great comeback. Chelsea as well. Liverpool. Good luck. That's what